Na tumeambia polisi, mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station, piga yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote.
I know most of Kenyans are shocked. Shocked with the sentiments that Kipchumba Murkomen made and the Kipchumba Murkomen consistency in the sentiments that he made from the Harambee House. For those who might not have seen the video, Kipchumba Murkomen started his conversation from the Harambee House after the demonstrations. And this is what he was saying.
Has foiled a coup and they deserve our defense. They don't carry guns as toys.
He was insinuating that the demonstrations that were held in the country were all intended to overthrow the government. Let me first state it here categorically that most Kenyans right now want President William Ruto out of power. If William Ruto woke up today and resigned, the entire country will celebrate. Even the people from Wasinigishu, they will celebrate. But now, Kipchumba Murkomen is coming out to call the Kenyans who went to the demonstrations that there were people who were attempting a coup against the government. Now, on this particular video, I want to take you through on some of the lessons that we are learning from William Ruto's government, more especially from the sentiments of Kipchumba Murkomen. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukwa Times, kindly take a second or two to subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Let me dive into the topic today, ladies and gentlemen. What is my lesson number one from what Kipchumba Murkomen is saying? Number one, there's a lot of ignorance from the government to the public concerns. What do I mean by that? The government does not care what the people of Kenya are talking about. They don't care what took Kenyans to the streets. They don't care what Kenyans are thinking, what they want for the future of this country. They're just interested to see that the government is doing whatever it wants to do in a peaceful way without any form of interruption, whether bad or good. That is the major statement that was made by Kipchumba Murkomen. Because when an interior cabinet secretary comes out to speak, and his entire statement is to castigate the common mwananchi, it's a clear indication that everything that was done by the common mwananchi was wrong. And everything that was done by the government was right. That is not the direction a country should be heading to. That is not the leadership that we should have as a country. In each and every day as we make a step, we all come to see clearly that William Ruto is not fit for leadership in this country. Not fit at all. You can't just be careless with what the common mwananchi is experiencing. Why am I saying this? And I really want to stress on this. The reason as to why Kenyans went to the streets are well known. The message was well written on various platforms. People are carrying placards showing their message to the government. There is no way you can be ignorant of all that. Apart from that, we all saw in the street how Boniface Karaoke was shot by a police officer. As we speak today, he's fighting for his life at Kenyatta National Hospital. We recently heard a young man from Homa Bay County who was killed by the police in the hands of the police in police custody is yet to be buried. How could you think that that was not a problem for the country? Ladies and gentlemen, another lesson that I learned from Kipchumba Murkomen's sentiments is that the enemy of President William Ruto are not the Gen Zs that the way he's thinking. The enemy of President William Ruto, it is not the public the way he's thinking. The enemy of President William Ruto are the people he has employed in office and also his advisors. When you listen to someone in the docket of the Interior Cabinet Secretary coming out angry with the common mwananchi, the people is expected to protect. What comes to our minds? It's that the people William Ruto has employed are all wrong people, most of them. Wrong people. You cannot come angry to Kenyans. That's the same mistake William Ruto made last year when Kenyans occupied parliament. After William Ruto himself had caused the demonstrations in the country by ignoring the cries of Kenyans, they eventually occupied parliament. He came out and called Kenyans criminals. Now again, Kipchumba Murkomen has come out to echo the voice of the president that Kenyans are criminals. through another sentiment that it was an attempted coup against the current sitting government. So in a nutshell, William Ruto's enemies are not even outside government. They are within government, most probably around Nairobi, in to be specific, even in State House most of the time. People he should approach and correct them. Or maybe they are reflecting what he is as an individual. In a nutshell, William Ruto is also an enemy of himself. If he sits down and listens to the people of Kenya, William Ruto can be able to fix this country. But because he has become ignorant, now see the kind of sentiments are coming out with anger from the people working under him. The Kenyan concerns are very clear. Why is it that they can't fix them? Instead, they are waiting for destruction and then come out and call Kenyans criminals. Ladies and gentlemen, another lesson that I learned from there's a lot of incompetence in William Ruto's government. Someone like Murkomen was among the people last year who resulted to the demonstrations that we had in the country, wearing a watch of 9 million, belt of 50,000, driving very expensive cars, shoes hundreds of thousands, suits hundreds of thousands, always flying. Then now we ask ourselves, the money that is being collected from Kenyans, it's not developing Kenya. Where is it going? People connected clearly that people around the president are enjoying. And as a result, the anger in Kenyans boiled seriously. That's how we found ourselves in the streets. The same Kipchumba Murkomen, if there are people who are not supposed to be returned in William Ruto's cabinet, it was Kipchumba Murkomen. But William Ruto elevated him. He took to the docket that is connected to youth, that's of sports, where we realized a lot of incompetence. Now he's again in the interior docket, where he's also portraying the same incompetence that was there before. My viewers, the incompetence that we have in William Ruto's government, it is led by this Kipchumba Murkomen. And I have to state it here categorically, because there is no way you can take Kenya to be like a house where you're just ordering things right, left, and center without having the concern that what took these Kenyans to the streets. Ladies and gentlemen, the other lesson I learned from Kipchumba Murkomen's statements, it is that William Ruto's government is determined to ensure that there is lawlessness in this country. Why am I saying that? When a leader comes out and threatens the public that we are going to protect the police officers even if they do something wrong, and the government, it is going to ensure that they are safe. If it is court, you are going to hire lawyers for them. Yet we have a police officer right now as we speak shooting who shot another one, a harmless Kenyan selling masks in the streets of Nairobi. He shot him literally while seeing this guy is harmless. He has not deteriorated. He's just having masks in his hands. And then you decide to shoot him. Then you tell me that that police officer should be protected by the government. What are you telling Kenyans? Do you think that the entire police force can be able to kill every Kenyan in this country? No. Kenyans are millions of people. The police officers are just a mere drop in the ocean. You cannot antagonize the police officers against the common money they are supposed to protect. That takes me to another point, that the government does not care the relationship between the police and the public. A day before yesterday, when we had the demonstrations in the country, I had a chance to sit with some youth somewhere in the streets as we shared and waited for tear gas to be thrown to us. And we were saying that literally we should have police officers having B+ and above within the police service, so that at least when we have somebody, it is not just the thinking does not just stop at the gun, in that people can go beyond the gun and engage the people from a thinking perspective, from a psychological perspective. Because there are police officers who are smart, clever, able to go to the street and engage the common mwananchi peacefully. But now in a scenario where we are having a police officer only feels that after asking you a question without thinking about the answer, the only thing he thinks of is the gun. That is not the police force, the police service that we need. So in a nutshell, the government putting out these kind of sentiments against, in support of the police against the common mwananchi, that is creating bad relationship between the common mwananchi and the police. People who should be working together to ensure that this country is safe. Let me give you an example here. There's a police officer who was captured on camera. Other police officers literally sped off with the vehicle and left him behind. When the demonstrators got hold of this guy, literally they were beating him. And I'm suspecting those were goons actually. They beat him literally. And asked myself, what was this? Why is this happening? The police officers are living with the other common mananchi across the country, all over the plots. When you come on board to antagonize the two factions, the police and the public, how are they going to live together in harmony? How are they going to operate? In a nutshell, the police service should be friends with the common mananchi, in that we can have a common mananchi literally walking out from his house, going to a police officer, engaging him on something that is concerning the public, more especially on security. But now in a scenario where we can't trust the police, they are used by let's talk of the politicians. That cannot work. That cannot work. Politicians are the problems we have in this country. Now, when you make them friends with police officers, eventually you realize that the public is going to alienate themselves with the police officers. And the police officers themselves will be in danger at some point. Ladies and gentlemen, the last lesson that I learned from this sentiments by Kipchumba Murkomen, I drew it from the video where he did at a police station, saying that he's going to shoot people. People are going to be shot if they are seen near the police station. That sentiment, when he made it, the public retaliated. They told him no, point blank, in front of the police, Inspector General of Police, other senior police officers, plus the Interior Cabinet Secretary. They told him no. Why? They are not sharing the problem. The burning of the police station and also the concerns of Kenyans, they are not meeting somewhere, because of the sentiments that were made by the Interior Cabinet Secretary. However, I noted from that sentiment that Kenyans are civilized. They know their rights. Because as Kipchumba Murkomen was saying that shoot them, the common mananchi was saying no, arrest them. That Kipchumba Murkomen was humbled. It was humble intellectually. It was humble. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, but as per to me, from the sentiments of Kipchumba Murkomen, that's what I think strongly, that it is going to mess up this country. Kipchumba Murkomen, as an individual, mess up this country from the sentiments that he made. Before I went up the video, I remember when people died in Turkana, disappeared. We don't know where they are right now. We don't know where they are recovered. People were shot at Barakoi. We don't know whether the police officers were held accountable. Deaths have occurred in Nairobi. A boy was shot in Mwiki in the head. We don't know whether that police officer has been held culpable. So the fact remains that Kipchumba Murkomen is the face of failure for this country. I don't know what's your take, but let me see on the comment section what you think.